My pupils of 6th grade primary school, that's our first time to study science this year, and I congratulate all the pupils who have succeeded the previous year, and many congratulations to all of them, and many congratulations to their efforts. So let's start our syllabus this year. We will study very interesting topics. موضوعات شيقة جدا إن شاء الله هندرسها. We will study 4 units in primary 6 this year, first term or first semester. So let's have a look on what we will study. ناخد كده نظرة بسرعة هندرس إن شاء الله السنة دي مع بعض عشان نعرف كويس قوي هنشتغل إزاي. So let's have a look on what we will study this year. So we will study, as I said before, 4 units. Unit 1 contains 1 lesson only. فيها درس واحد بس. 1 lesson only, which deal with mass and weight. يبقى unit 1 فيها درس واحد بس بيتكلم عن حاجة اسمها mass and weight، الكتلة والوزن. This is a very interesting topic. موضوع مهم جدا وشيق جدا. We will study it today إن شاء الله. So what about unit 2? Unit 2, it contains 2 lessons which are heat conduction توصيل الحرارة, and you have an idea. في معظمكم عنده فكرة عن الموضوع دوت. What are the good conductors of heat and what are the bad conductors of heat, as we have studied in metals and non-metals. And also another lesson, or lesson 2, which is measuring temperature. And you know we can measure temperature, ممكن نقيس الحرارة, by a very important device, بجهاز مهم جدا, which is called thermometer. So what about unit 3? Unit 3 contains 3 lessons. Unit 3 contains 3 lessons that deal with atmosphere, تعامل مع الغلاف الجوي, which contains 3 lessons as I said. Lesson 1, which will be oxygen gas, غاز الأكسجين. Lesson 2, carbon dioxide gas, you know all of these gases and their percentage, and also the nitrogen gas. So we have up till now 3 units, but what about unit 4? Unit 4 deal with 2 lessons, or includes 2 lessons, are nervous system, الجهاز العصبي, nervous system, and I know you like the biology lessons this year. Nervous system, الجهاز العصبي, and you will know its functions, its structure, and all about nervous system. And also locomotory system, or the system which give us the ability to move. So we will study many interesting lessons this year. I promise you to do that. So let's start our first lesson today, which deal with mass and weight. What's the difference between mass and weight? I know, or I can hear you now. And دلوقتي أقدر إن أسمعكم بتقولوا الاثنين حاجة واحدة تقريبا. Mass الكتلة, weight الوزن. No, there is a great difference between mass and weight. فرق كبير جدا بين الماس والويت. What the difference between mass and weight? We will study it now. So let me give you a very simple question to know the difference between mass and weight. You can read this question on some, or this sentence on some bags, like bags of rice, bags of sugar, bags of flour, and so on. ممكن جدا اشوف السؤال ده او الجمله دي مكتوبه على بعض الاكياس زي اكياس الدقيق او الرز او السكر and so on. This sentence says that the net weight 5 kilogram for example. Net weight الوزن الصافي, net weight 5 kilogram. Is the sentence true or not? I will not answer this sentence before we will study this lesson, and you will answer this sentence, or you will answer this question after we will study, or after we have studied this lesson about mass and weight. So let's start with the difference between mass and weight with the number 1, mass. ايه هي الماس؟ ايه هي الكتلة؟ وبعد كده نتكلم عن ايه هو الويت او ايه هو الوزن، ونعرف الديفرنس بين الاثنين. So let's study the difference between them. We'll study the difference between mass and weight. We'll start with mass. الكتلة ايه هي؟ We have studied that the mass is the amount of matter in an object. The mass is the amount of matter in an object. الكتلة هي كمية المادة الموجودة في الجسم أو الموجودة في الشيء. Again, mass is the amount of matter in an object. What are the properties of mass? إيه هي خواص الماس? What are the properties of mass? We have many properties of mass, such as number 1, mass increases when the amount of matter increases, and vice versa. Mass increases when the amount of matter increases and vice versa. Look here, if I have a bag like this, imagine that I have a bag and there is a marble in the bag. في كده بلية في الشنطة ديت أو في الكيس ده. This marble has 5 gram mass. What about if I add another marble اللي يحصل لو ضفت ماربل تانية they will be 10 gram. What happen if I add third marble بلية تالتة they will be 15 gram. What happen if I add another marble they will be 20 grams. So what happened to mass? What happened to mass? What happened to mass when matter increases? When matter increases, mass increases too. When matter increases, mass increases too, and vice versa. When matter decreases, mass decrease, or when mass decrease, matter decrease. العلاقة من الماس والماتر علاقة بنسميها direct relation أو directly proportional. كلمة يمكن أول مرة نسمعها، يعني علاقة طردية. لو الماتر زادت ولو الماتر قلت الماس برضو هتقل. So the relation here is direct relation. كلمة أول مرة نسمعها direct relation يعني علاقة طردية. It means that when something increased لما في شيء بيزيد the other something أو the other something will increase too. الشيء التاني برضو بيزيد معاه. So the relation between mass and matter is directly proportional or is direct relation, which means that when matter increase, mass increase, and vice versa. When mass decrease, matter decrease, and vice versa again. So again, the first property of mass is that mass increases when matter or amount of matter increase. Increase matter, surely mass increase. لو زودت المادة أكيد الماس هتزيد. لو زودت الشيء اللي أنا بشيله فوق دماغي مثلا for example أو على إيديا sure الماس هتزيد. كل ما بزود الماتر الماس برضه بتزيد. That's the first property of mass. So what about the second property؟ الخاصية الثانية للماس. All matters have mass whatever their physical state, solid, liquid or gas. This property is very important. All matters have mass. كل المواد ليها كتلة. Whatever their physical state مهما كان حالتها المادية. Solid مادة صلبة. Liquid مادة سائلة. Or gas أو مادة غازية. Imagine that I have a piece of iron or a piece of wood like this. A piece of iron. Okay, it has a mass. Yeah, it has a mass. Imagine that I have quantity of water or a quantity of any liquid such as oil, benzene, alcohol, and so on. It have mass. Surely it have mass. Okay. Imagine that there is a quantity of air. بكمية هواء inside a balloon. A quantity of gas like carbon dioxide, like hydrogen, any gas we know. So the gas here has mass. Surely it has mass. So what happened? If there is no gas in the balloon mass will be less than the balloon mass with the gas. يعني لو البالون دي من غير الاير surely it will have less mass. هتكون عندها ماس اقل. طب معنى كده ان الاير اللي جوه البالون ليه كتله، ليه ماس. كلمه كتله وزن بليز بقى، احنا خلاص كبرنا على موضوع الخلط بين الاثنين. النهارده ان شاء الله هنعرف الفرق كويس قوي بين الكتله والوزن او الماس and weight. So here all matters have mass whatever their physical state, solid or liquid or gas. Again, all matters have mass whatever their physical state, solid, liquid or gas. So that's second property of mass. The third property, all matters have mass whatever their place. All matters have mass whatever their place. أي مادة في الدنيا ليها ماس مهما كان مكانها. In hand, on the earth, on the moon, or on any planet. So all matters have mass whatever their place. Imagine that there is a person here. There is a person on the earth. This person has mass of 50 kilograms, for example. Okay? If this person moves to the moon, he will have the same mass, 50 kilograms. وده كان خطأ كبير قوي بنقع فيه. احنا فاكرين ان الماس عند المون بتتغير. No, I don't lose any mass or any matter of my body. لما واحد بيروح عند المون ما بيفقدش اي part من جسمه، اي جزء من جسمه. He has all his matter, all his mass inside his body. So mass doesn't change. الماس ما بتتغيرش. Again, if I traveled or if I moved from the planet Earth to any planet on the universe, mass doesn't change. Mass is a fixed or is a constant or is a stable value. الماس قيمة ثابتة. ممكن نسميها fixed value, constant value, stable value. So again, mass doesn't change by changing the place. If the place changes, mass doesn't change. الماس ليها شخصية قوية قوي ما بتتغيرش خالص. So again, if this person moves to another planet, imagine that like Jupiter. We know this planet, Jupiter. Okay, the same person, he will have mass also 50 kilogram. Okay, again he will have mass also 50 kilogram. So again we can summarize this property by that mass doesn't change. Mass doesn't change by changing the place. That's a very important point, or a very important property in the properties of mass. So again, mass doesn't change by changing the place. So let's go to another property of mass, which is that mass of any matter is fixed, stable, or constant value, and it doesn't change by changing what? By changing the state of matter, solid or liquid or gas, and also the place of matter, مكان المادة أو حالة المادة. يعني for example لو عندي a cube of ice, مكعب تلج, it has a mass of 10 gram. What happened to this mass if the cube of ice melt؟ لو مكعب تلج تحول حالة الانصهار وتحول لسائل, it will have the same mass which is 10 gram. So what happened if the liquid or the water change into vapor in a closed system, لكن في نظام مغلق أو في جو مغلق, it will have also the same mass which will be 10 gram. So here, imagine that if there is a piece of ice or a cube of ice like that, that's ice, it will have 10 gram. What happened if I melted this ice and change it into water? It will have also 10 gram. Okay? What happened if this water is evaporated but in a closed system? All water evaporated, water vapor. It will have what? It will have 10 gram too. يبقى نقدر نقول أو أقدر أقول كده إن الماس doesn't change by changing the place of matter or the state of matter. Like solid, which is ice, solid. Like liquid, which is water. Like gas, which is water vapor. So again, matter doesn't change by changing the state of matter, solid or liquid or gas, or the place of matter, whatever or wherever the mass or the matter is found. So again, it's a very important property of mass. الماس ما بتتغيرش. الماس زي ما اتفقنا عندها شخصية قوية قوي. مهما غيرت state of matter حالة المادة solid, liquid or gas، أو مهما غيرت place of matter مكان المادة whatever or wherever the place، أيا كان المكان ده، mass doesn't change. الماس ما بتتغيرش. So another property of mass, it's a very important property, and all of you know this property from your previous study in primary 4. كلكم عارفين كويس قوي، درسنا في primary 4 ان الماس is measured in units such as gram, kilogram, and ton. Again, mass is measured in gram, kilogram, and ton, and we know gram is used for measuring very small objects such as what? Such as medicals, أدوية, or chemicals, الكيماويات, or gold and silver. And what about kilogram? Kilogram is used for measuring fruits and vegetables, and also ton is used for measuring the great amount or great quantity of mass, such as blocks of iron and so on. So, again, another property of mass, mass is measured by devices called scales or balances. الأجهزة بنسميها scales أو balance، اللي بنسميه in Arabic باللغة العربية الميزان. ولو إني مش متفق على التسمية دي، تسمية مش دقيقة قوي، لأن الميزان جاي من الوزن، لا هو بالظبط أقدر أسميه كده الجهاز اللي بيحدد الكتلة. scale أو balance هو جهاز قياس الكتلة. ممكن نسميه كده بيننا وبين بعض المكتل. اوكي، ممكن نسميها كده. Mass is measured by devices called scales and balances. scales أو المكتل زي ما اتفقنا أو جهاز قياس الكتلة هو اللي هيحدد الماس مش الوزن، مش الويت. So what about types of balances؟ ايه هي انواع البالانس او انواع scales؟ We have two types of balance or scales. Number one, two arm scale، الميزان ذو الكفتين، two arm scale، وده عندنا منه two examples which are balance scale او الميزان المعتاد، وساعات كمان بنسميه common scale، الاثنين نفس المعنى common scale or balance scale. Number two, sensitive two arm scale أو الميزان الحساس sensitive two arm scale. So the second type النوع الثاني one arm scale ميزان ذو كفتين، ميزان ذو كفة واحدة. I'm sorry, one arm scale. وده we have two types of them which are one arm digital scale and one arm scale with a pointer. في ميزان بنسميه ذو كفة واحدة رقمي ديجيتال سكيل، في one arm scale with a pointer في ميزان ذو كفة واحدة ذو مؤشر. So let's have a look on the type of balances which we have studied this year. One scale, this is an image for this. ده ميزان ذو كفة واحدة رقمي, one arm digital scale. One arm scale with a pointer, ميزان بمؤشر, one arm scale with a pointer. And this is an image for all the type of balances which we have studied now. I have two types or two main type of scale which are one arm scale and the two arm scale. في نوعين رئيسيين. One arm scale ميزان ذو كفة واحدة. Two arm scale ميزان ذو كفتين. Two arm scale قسمناهم لنوعين أو two examples. Balance scale that used to measure the large masses as cheese, fruits, and vegetables. The two arm scale which is used to measure small masses such as gold and chemicals. So what about the one arm scale? One arm scale خدنا منه two types or two examples. Number one, one arm digital scale. Number two, one arm scale with a pointer. One arm scale with a pointer. So نقطة هنا ملاحظة مهمة جدا. We use the suitable balance to measure the suitable quantity of masses. يعني بستخدم الميزان المناسب بالكتلة المناسبة أو جهاز قياس الكتلة المناسبة, مش هقول بقى كلمة ميزان, للكتلة المناسبة. For example, if I want to measure mass of fruits and vegetables, I will use common balance or balance scale. If I want to use to measure the mass of chemicals or gold or silver, for example, I will use sensitive two arm scale or digital one arm scale. So again, we use the suitable balance to measure the suitable quantity of masses. So 1 gram equal what؟ الجرام ده تقريبا ايه هو؟ او يعني ايه جرام؟ الجرام ده حاجه صغيره قوي ولا حاجه كبيره قوي ولا ايه بالظبط؟ 1 gram equal mass of one paper clip. هو تقريبا كتله دبوس ورق. You know that paper clip? The paper clip has a mass of 1 gram approximately. تقريبا ال 1 gram بيساوي mass of one paper clip. For small masses such as jewelry. So when we buy jewels, لما بنشتري مجوهرات or gold or silver, we buy these jewels by gram. We measure the mass of jewels in gram. And again, gram is the mass of one paper clip. So what about 1 kilogram? We know 1 kilogram is or equal 1000 gram. عارفين كويس قوي الكيلوغرام بيساوي 1000 جرام. And it equal the mass of 1 liter of water at the normal temperature. وتقريبا هو كتلة الحرارة المعتادة, which will be 25 Celsius. Again, kilogram equal 1000 gram, and it will be the mass of 1 liter of water at the normal temperature. Kilogram also is suitable for measuring the large masses such as fruits and kilogram مناسب للكتل الكبيرة زي الفروتس أو vegetables. And also ton is used to measure the very big masses, كتل كبيرة جدا زي blocks of mass of cars, كتلة السيارات مثلا for example, it will be measured in ton. It will be measured in ton. So mass of a body again doesn't change from place to another. دي نقطة مهمة جدا في درس النهارده, أو فرق بين الماس والويت. And the mass of any body doesn't change by changing the place. Doesn't change by changing the place of the body. So, example, mass of your body on the surface of the earth is 50 kilogram. لو أنت كتلتك على الأرض 50 kilogram, it will be 50 kilogram on the moon. It will be again 50 kilogram on the moon. So, here I can conclude, ممكن نستنتج من ده, the mass of the body doesn't change from changing the place of matter or from changing the place of the body from one place to another. So again, الماس قيمة ثابتة and it doesn't change. If your mass is here on the earth equal, for example, 100 kilogram, it will be also 100 kilogram on the moon, 100 kilogram on Jupiter, 100 kilogram on Mars, 100 kilogram on any place in the universe. في أي مكان في الكون كله, the mass of your body doesn't change. The mass of your body doesn't change. So, weight. But before we talk about weight, قبل ما نتكلم على الويت, I will summarize what we have studied on mass. نلخص مع بعض كل اللي درسناه عن قوي المين ديفرنس, الفرق الرئيسي بين الماس الكتلة والويت الوزن. Mass, as I said, doesn't change from place to place. Mass is a fixed value, قيمة ثابتة ما بتتغيرش من مكان لمكان. All matters have mass whatever their physical state. كل المواد اللي في الدنيا ليها كتلة whatever it's a very small, حتى لو كانت صغيرة جدا. For example, the mass of air inside the balloon is very small but it has a mass. الاير اللي جوه البالون قيمة صغيرة جدا لكن عنده ماس، عنده كتلة. mass doesn't change from changing the state of matter، حالة المادة solid liquid gas. mass doesn't change from changing or by changing the place of matter، مهما غيرت مكان المادة الماس ما بتغيرش. mass is measured in gram or kilogram or ton and we know the difference between them. gram for small, very small objects, kilogram for big objects, and ton for very big or very huge objects. And also mass is measured by devices called balances or scales. البالانس او السكيل اللي احنا بنسميه تجاوزا الميزان في اللغه العربيه، لكن هو الادق، التسميه الادق هو جهاز تحديد الكتله، او زي ما اتفقنا مع بعض هو المكتل. المكتل او الميزان بقى خلاص هنتعود على الكلمه ديت is a scale or the balance is the device which is used to measure the mass. So what difference between measured in and measured by؟ قبل ما اقول برضو الويت عايز الفت نظركم لنقطه مهمه جدا، خطا شائع في الامتحانات. Say I said that complete. Okay. Number one, mass is measured in point. Another question, mass is measured by point. ممكن كتير جدا يقول لي they are the same questions. I can say mass is measured in scale. I can say that mass is measured by scale. No, it's very wrong. So mass is measured in، لما الاقي measured in I need the units، بحتاج اليونتس الوحدات. So I can say mass is measured in gram for example, kilogram and so on. So again measured in needs what? Needs units. Okay? Again measured in needs units. So what about measured by؟ measured by I want the device، بحتاج الجهاز اللي بيقيس الماس. So here I can say that I can say mass is measured by scale or balance. Mass is measured by scale or balance. So we must قوي افرق بين الاثنين. measured in انا بحتاج فيها اليونت، measured by بحتاج فيها الجهاز. Again measured in بحتاج فيها اليونت، measured by بحتاج فيها الجهاز او الديفايس such as balance scale, 2 arm scale, 1 arm scale, digital and so on, and any device which we have studied today. So now let's start the weight. الوزن. ايه هو الوزن؟ We can say that the weight is the gravitational force or the attraction force by which the body is attracted toward the earth. الويت هو قوة الجاذبية اللي بينجذب بيها الجسم للأرض، يعني مش مرتبط قوي بالماس، أو هو كأنه كده كل ما الماس يزيد الويت بيزيد، يعني في ارتباط بينهم وثيق جدا، لكن في نفس الوقت ملوش دعوة بالكتلة اللي جوه قد إيه. Again, weight is the gravitational force by which a body is attracted toward the earth. يعني تأثير ويت الأكتر أو التأثير اللي بيكون أعم أو أشمل هو المكان اللي موجود فيه. For example, imagine that. Look here. I have Earth planet. Okay, Earth planet here and the moon. نرسم مع بعض. I have here Earth planet, and when someone is on the Earth, it will have weight. When this someone or this person moves to the moon, it will have less weight. For example, if you have here 600 Newton، كلمة أول مرة نسمعها، نيوتن دي اليونت اللي بقيس بيها الويت. You will have here on the moon 100 Newton only. So what happened to weight? Weight it changes. الويت اتغير أو الوزن اتغير لأنه مش مرتبط بس بالكتلة أو بالماس اللي جوه جسمك، لكنه مرتبط بالاتراكشن فورس، قوة الجذب أو الجرافيتيشنال فورس أو الجرافيتي الجاذبية اللي بتشد جسمك لأسفل. So again, what's the difference between Earth and the moon? Which one is bigger? مين أكبر؟ Surely Earth is bigger than the moon. We know that Earth is bigger than the moon with approximately 5 or 6 times. تقريبا الأرض أكبر من القمر 5 أو 6 مرات. So what happened to you when you move to the moon? The attraction force will decrease. القوة هتقل. So your So the main difference between mass and weight، أول فرق بين mass and weight is that mass doesn't change but weight it changes by changing the place. الويت بيتغير بتغيير المكان اللي انت موجود فيه. So again mass doesn't change، الماس ما بتتغيرش but weight changes from place to place. So that's the main difference between mass and weight. So look here, the definition of weight is very important. تعريف الويت تعريف مهم جدا. And we can say that it's the attraction force by which the body is attracted towards the earth. Again, or the gravitational force by which the body is attracted towards or to the earth. Again, weight is the gravitational force by which a body is attracted to the earth. So, properties of weight. ايه هي خواص الويت؟ Number one, the effect of weight. تأثير الويت أو تأثير الوزن is always directed towards the earth's center. دايما متجه لمركز الأرض. Imagine that if you leave something like that, like this pen. شوف مع بعض كده لو أنا سبت القلم دوت, what happened? It will fall. Why? It will fall because there is attraction force. Look here. What happened? It will fall. Why? Because there is attraction force in the earth. في قوة جذب في الأرض بنسميها الجرافيتي. والجرافيتي هو ده اللي بيسبب الويت أو الوزن. So again, if you move anything in the air, it will move directly towards the earth. في اتجاه مركز الأرض. It will move towards the earth and to the earth center. في اتجاه مركز الأرض أو في اتجاه الأرض. Why? Because there is attraction force. There is a force which is called the gravity. أو كانوا بيسموها باليوناني gravitas. Gravitas أو الجاذبية هي القوة اللي بتشد الجسم للأرض. So we can say that weight is the attraction force which is the body or which act on the body towards the earth center. So again, the effect of the weight is always towards the earth center. So what about the effect of mass? طب حد يسألني ايه هو تأثير الماس؟ طبعا تأثير الماس there is no direction for the mass. مفيش اتجاه للماس. Why? Because mass doesn't change. The effect of the mass, no. We have no effect or we have no direction for the mass. But there is a direction for the weight because it changes from place to place. Another property, خاصية تانية للويت. On earth, all objects have weight. على الأرض كل حاجة عندها weight. But in space انت بقى ما بيكونش عندي weight خالص او بكون في حاله كده float in space, يعني واحد بيطفو في الفضاء او بيسبح في الفضاء in the space. Again, on earth all objects have weight. على الارض كل حاجه ليها وزن وطبعا اكيد sure ليها mass. But in space all objects are in a state of weightlessness. في حاله في الفضاء بنسميها weightlessness او انعدام weightlessness او بنسميها انعدام الوزن. Why? Because there is no attraction force from the earth from or any planet. في الفضاء مفيش أي جاذبية من أي كوكب أو حتى من الأرض نفسها. So again, on Earth, all objects have weight, but in space are in a state of weightlessness. Another property of it, the measuring unit, وحدة القياس للويت is Newton. دي حاجة مهمة جدا. To the great scientist Isaac Newton who discovered the gravity or the weight. يبقى وحدة القياس للويت هي نيوتن، وده على اسم عالم مشهور جدا أكيد كلكم تعرفوه، إيزاك نيوتن who discovered the weight اللي اكتشف الجاذبية. Okay, the measurement again of weight is Newton. So can you remind me, حد يفكرني, what are the measuring units of mass? We have 3 units of mass which are gram, kilogram and ton. Another property, Newton equal what? Equal the weight of mass of 100 grams. So I can say that 1 Newton equal what? Look here, 1 Newton equal 100 grams. 7 Newton, they will be 700 grams. What about 10 Newton? They will be 1000 grams or 1 kilogram. Take care again. 1 Newton equal what? We know that if every 1 Newton, each 1 Newton has a mass of 100 grams. يعني تقريبا كل 1 نيوتن بيساوي 100 جرام. So 7 Newton equal 700 gram. 1 Newton or 10 Newton, sorry, equal 1000 gram or 1 kilogram. 1000 gram or 1 kilogram. Okay? Another property of weight is that the measuring device, الجهاز اللي بقيس بيه الويت، الجهاز يمكن أول مرة نشوفه في حياتنا، أول مرة نسمع عنه، is the spring scale. جهاز بنسميه spring scale. سبرينج سكيل او الميزان الزنبركي او الميزان اللي فيه سوسته، يمكن شفتوه قبل كده بس ما حدش خد باله منه او ما كانش يعرف اسمه ايه او its usage استخدامه. So this scale or this device is called the spring scale and it's used for measuring the weight. يبقى في جهاز واحد بس بيقيس الويت اسمه spring scale، لكن we have many devices that measure mass. So here again as I said before الماس ليها شخصيه قويه قوي، ما بتتغيرش، ليها اكتر من يونت، ليها اكتر من جهاز، لكن الويت بيتغير، عشان كده ليه يونت واحده بس اسمها نيوتن وجهاز واحد بس اسمه spring scale. So again the measuring device of the weight is the spring scale. And I have here an image، في صوره مهمه قوي نشوفها مع بعض للspring scale. Okay, this is an image of the spring scale. Here I have a hook، في خطاف at the bottom في اسفل spring scale. In this area we can hang، ممكن نعلق anything in this spring scale and measure the weight. And measure the weight, for example, here is the weight 2 Newton. Again, the weight here is 2 Newton. So again, the measuring device of the weight is a spring scale. Spring scale is the only device that is used to measure the weight. And this is an image of it. Okay? So weight of any object, as I said, increases by increasing mass. يبقى الويت بيزيد كل ما زود الماس surely, as we have started before. So the relation here, العلاقة بين الاثنين بين الويت والماس is what? Surely is directly proportional. علاقة طردية. Again, the weight increases by increasing the mass, so the relation between them is direct relation أو علاقة طردية, or directly proportional, which means that if the weight increase, the mass increase, and vice versa, and if the mass increase, the weight increase. الاثنين بيحبوا بعض جدا، فالعلاقة بينهم علاقة طردية، معناها لو واحد منهم increase الثاني برضه increase، لو واحد decrease الثاني برضه decrease. So factors affecting weight. We said that weight changes. weight بتغير. طب ايه اللي بيأثر على الويت؟ يعني ايه كلمة factors؟ كلمة كتير. factors يعني عوامل. عوامل يعني ايه؟ يعني ايه اللي يخلي الويت يتغير؟ ايه اللي يخليه increase يزيد او decrease يقل؟ So again, what are the factors affecting on weight? ايه هي الفاكتور اللي بتأثر على الويت؟ Look here, I have three factors that affect on weight. Number one, object mass. Object mass كتلة الجسم. Look here, where the weight increases by increasing the mass. الويت بيزيد كل ما زود الماس. Again, where the weight increases by increasing the mass. يبقى أول فاكتور، أول شيء بيعتمد عليه الويت هو الماس. And we know that the relation between them is direct relation, which means that when mass increases, weight increases, and vice versa. Vice versa يعني إيه؟ والعكس صحيح. يعني لو الاثنين اتغيروا مع بعض. Mass increase, weight increase. Mass decrease, weight decrease. So what about the second factor? العامل الثاني هو البلانيت أو البليس where the object exists. And let me explain this by drawing. اديني فرصة أشرحها بالرسم. Imagine that there is a planet Earth here and the planet Jupiter. You know that Jupiter is the biggest planet and it's much bigger than the Earth. You know Jupiter? Okay. So if someone standing on the Earth or is found on the Earth, it will have a weight, for example, 600 Newton, for example. What happened to the weight of the same person if he moves to the Jupiter planet? Surely it will change. But by increasing or decreasing, surely Jupiter is a great or is bigger than the Earth. So it attracts the same person more. عشان جوبيتر أكبر أكيد هيشد الشخص ده بقوة أكبر. So the weight of the person will be, for example, 6,000 Newton. Look here, 600 here, 6,000 here. So what happened to weight? Weight increases. Weight increases by increasing the size of the planet. يعني كل ما الكوكب بيكبر كل ما الويت عنده بيبقى اكتر. عشان كده بنلاحظ ان عند المون الويت بتقل جدا مش تنعدم. ناس كتير قوي بتغلط او بتلخبط ان الويت عند المون تبقى منعدمه او مش موجوده او ويتلسنس. لا، في ويت عند المون بس قليله شويه عن الارث. But it's less than the earth. So again, weight depend on the planet or the place. بيعتمد على الوزن. الوزن اسف بيعتمد على المكان او الكوكب اللي احنا موجودين عليه. So weight increases when we move from Earth to Jupiter and weight decreases when we move from Earth to the moon. Look here, if I draw the moon here to the same person, if it goes this moon, it will be 100 Newton only. So it will increase if I go to Jupiter, if I go to the moon. Why? Because weight depends on the planet, where when the planet increase in size or the planet gets bigger, the weight increase too. يعني كل ما الكوكب increase in size بيكبر في الحجم أو بيزيد, the weight increase too. So the relation between them is also direct relation. علاقة برضه علاقة بنسميها طردية. يعني كل ما الوزن بتاع الكوكب بيزيد أو حجم الكوكب بيزيد, also the weight of my body increase on this planet. So again, I can say that where the weight increases by increasing the planet mass. Where the weight increases by increasing the planet mass. That's the second factor. ده العامل الثاني which the weight depend on. So what about the third factor? العامل الثالث, the distance between the object and the center of the planet. المسافة بين مركز الكوكب والشيء اللي بنتكلم عنه أو الجسم اللي بنتكلم عنه. Imagine that there is here a planet. For example, the planet Earth. Okay? And this is the center. You know that this line is the equator, ده خط الاستواء. Here is the center. Okay? If a person is standing here near the center and after some days he moved to the North Pole for example. بعد كده الشخص ده اتنقل للنورث بول. What happened to the weight if he moved away from the center or toward the center? If he moved away from center, لو بعد عن السنتر, the weight decreases. الوزن هيقل. Why? Because the attraction force will be less. Because he moved away from the center, which has the more attraction force. يعني كل ما ابعد عن السنتر كل ما ازود المسافه الويت decreases. يبقى ممكن اقول كده distance المسافه distance increases الويت decrease. يعني المسافه هنا او العلاقه هنا عكسيه. كل ما المسافه بتزيد كل ما ابعد عن السنتر الويت decrease. So the relation here is what بنسميها اسم غريب شويه بنسميها inverse relation. يعني ايه inverse relation؟ علاقه عكسيه. اوكي؟ مش بقى direct relation علاقه طرديه، لا علاقه عكسيه. So again when the distance increase يعني كل ما ابعد عن الcenter of the planet the weight decrease الوزن بيقل. كل ما distance increase الويت decrease. So the relation is what? Is inverse relation علاقه عكسيه. Inverse relation يعني علاقه عكسيه. So let me explain this again. The distance between the object and the center of the planet where the weight decreases. The distance between the object and of the planet increase. When the weight decreases or where the weight decreases when the distance between the object and the center of the planet increases. So nota bene ملاحظة مهمة جدا. The attraction force of an apple, its mass is 100 gram equal 1 Newton, as I said before. Every 100 gram equal what? 1 Newton. So up till now we have again factors affecting weight. مين بيأثر على weight من تاني؟ قلنا هم 3 factors. The mass of the body, the mass of the object. Number 1 الكتلة الماس. Number 2 the planet or the place المكان أو الكوكب الموجود عليه. Number 3 the distance between the center of the planet and the body. So weight effect is towards the earth center. دايما تأثيره في اتجاه مركز الأرض. Because everything fall to the earth center. كل شيء بيقع لمركز الأرض عشان في attraction force قوة جذب للمركز الأرض. So weight increases by increasing the mass as the following relation. الويت بيزيد كل ما بزود الماس حسب العلاقة التالية. في علاقة أو قانون أو رول مهم قوي وهنشتغل بيه إن شاء الله المرة الجاية شغل كبير قوي أو problems مهمة قوي وسهلة قوي في نفس الوقت which are the problems of mass and weight. Look here, weight equal mass in kilogram by 10. Look here, weight equal what? Equal mass in kilogram. الكتلة بس تكون بالكيلوغرام لو بالجرام أو بأي حاجة ثانية لازم أحولها by 10. So again, I can write this here in more clearer words. Weight equal what? Weight equal mass by 10. So the relation between them, if mass increases, weight also increases. لو الماس هتزيد أكيد الويت برضو هيزيد. So again, the relation between العلاقة بين الماس weight increase it will be direct relation علاقة طردية. Again, it will be direct relation. So again, when weight increases, mass increases, and vice versa. It means that when weight decreases, mass decreases, and it means that there is a direct relation between mass and weight. So look here, I have an example here. ناخد example مهم قوي. A body of weight on the surface of the earth equal 6 Newton will be 1 Newton on the surface of the moon. What about this? Look here, the weight when we move from the earth to the moon changes. الويت اتغير لما تحولت من الأرض للقمر. Why? Or give reason? Because weight changes by changing the place. So what about the mass? If the mass here is, for example, 60 kilogram, what happened to the mass if I will move to the moon? It will not change. Why? Because the mass is a fixed value. الماس كتلة ثابتة أو الماس قيمة ثابتة. It doesn't change by changing the place. ما بتغيرش تغيير المكان. If the mass on the earth equals 60 kilogram, it will be 60 kilogram on the moon again. So weight of the body on the moon equal 1/6 of its weight on the surface of the earth. الوزن عند المون تقريبا بيساوي 1/6 من وزن الجسم على الارض. وده هنتكلم عنه ان شاء الله بالتفصيل المره الجايه. مش عايز بس اشغل بالكم بيها دلوقتي. ان شاء الله الحلقه الجايه هتكون مخصصه كلها للبروبلمز of mass and weight. Today بس النهارده we will study mass and weight, not the problems of mass and weight. Okay? I promise you ان شاء الله we will have a special episode حلقه خاصه عن البروبلمز next week ان شاء الله. Earth equal weight on the moon by 6. and weight on the moon equal weight on the earth by 6 or divide 6, sorry, divided by 6. So compare between mass and weight. By this point I will end the explaining and we will have a very important selection of questions dealing with mass and weight. اخر نقطه هنتكلم فيها النهارده ان شاء الله هتكلم عن comparison بين الماس والويت، الكتله والوزن، نلخص درس فيه كلها، وبعد كده هنتكلم ان شاء الله او ندرس شويه اسئله مهمين جدا اعرف بيهم ايه الفرق الثاني برضو بين الماس والويت. Number 1. What's the definition between each one of them؟ لما احب اعمل comparison دايما اتكلم عن كل نقطه درستها في الموضوع. Mass is what? Is the amount of matter in an object. الماس هي كميه الماده اللي في الشيء. Again, mass is the amount of matter in an object. So what about weight? Weight is that? Is the gravitational force by which the body is attracted toward the earth. Again, weight is the gravitational force by which the body is attracted toward the earth. يبقى ده أول بوينت بتكلم فيها عن في الكومباريزون بين الماس والويت. دايما لما يقول لي compare لازم أعمل تيبل، وأول كولم في التيبل بيسميه وجه المقارنة. بتكلم عن الماس والويت يبقى أكيد التيبل ده هيكون فيه 3 كولم، 3 عواميد، point of comparison والماس والويت. طب point of comparison another point unit، وحدة قياس لكل الماس والويت. We know that mass has 3 units such as gram, kilogram and ton. But what about weight? Weight has only 1 unit which is Newton. Weight has only 1 Newton which is Newton. Okay, what are the measuring tools? أدوات القياس أو الأجهزة أو devices. We have many scales or many balances for mass, 2-arm scale or 1-arm scale. Or I have 2 examples of 2-arm scale which are 1 or 2-arm scale or balance scale or sensitive 2-arm scale. And also I have 2 types or 2 examples of 1-arm scale which are digital 1-arm scale and 1-arm scale with a pointer. But I have only 1 unit or 1 device sorry for the weight. هو جهاز واحد بس بيقيس الويت، هو spring scale or spring balance. ممكن نسميه spring scale أو spring balance. So another point direction، اتجاه الويت والماس. الماس عارفين كويس قوي انها ما بتتغيرش، يبقى الماس has no direction. Mass has no direction but weight has a direction. And where is the direction? Towards the earth's center or downward. Towards the earth's center or downward. Point of comparison change with place. هل بتغير بتغيير المكان ولا لا؟ We know that mass is a constant and it doesn't change. So I can say in mass no change. في الماس ممكن اقول له no change، مفيش تغيير خالص. لكن في الويت variable change. Variable or change from place to place or changeable. Variable معناها متغير، يعني مش ثابت، قيمته بتتغير من مكان لمكان لانه بيعتمد على البليس، بيعتمد على distance from the center of the planet. So again, which one will change, mass or weight? Surely the one with which changes, it will be the weight. الوزن بيتغير، الكتلة ما بتتغيرش. Again, mass doesn't change, weight changes. So examples, look here. A body, its mass on Earth equals 6 kilograms. Calculate its mass on the moon, its weight on the Earth, its weight on the moon. By this question, I will end the explanation and start a very important selection of questions. نبدأ مجموعة مهمة جدا من الأسئلة، لكن هحل بس من البروبلم دي أول wanted بس أو أول demand، أول مطلوب فيها بس. السؤال بيقول لي إن في body, its mass on the Earth equal 6 kilograms. Calculate its mass on the moon. What about the mass on the moon? We know that mass doesn't change. الماس ما بتتغيرش. So the mass on the moon will be also 6 kilograms. So now let me delay، هنأجل بقى بقية البروبلم الأسبوع الجاي إن شاء الله، ونتكلم دلوقتي عن موضوع مهم جدا، هو أسئلة مهمة جدا عن الماس ويت. ده different or very important collection or selection of questions about mass and weight. So here let's start. The first question says that correct the underlined word. Correct the underlined word in the following questions. First question says that weight is the amount of matter in an object. Weight is the amount of matter in an object. Surely weight is wrong here. Why? Because we know that mass is the amount of matter in an object. So today we have studied، درسنا النهارده موضوع مهم جدا هو الماس والويت، الكتلة والوزن، لكن ان شاء الله هندرس بالتفصيل in details المرة الجاية of mass and weight. موضوع شيق جدا وسهل جدا at the same time. Another question says that some matters have mass whatever their physical state, solid, liquid or gas. Some matters have mass. No, surely wrong. All matters have mass. All matter, not some matters have mass. كل المواد ليها كتلة مهما كان حالتها الفيزيائية أو their physical state, solid or liquid or gas. All matters have mass, whatever their physical state, solid, liquid or gas. Another question. Some matters have mass, whatever their place, in hand, on the moon or on any planet. بيقول لي بعض المواد ليها كتلة مهما كان مكانها، معنى كده ان في مواد تانية ملهاش ماس، ملهاش كتلة. surely wrong، اكيد طبعا غلط. all matters have mass. all matters have mass whatever their place, in hand, on the moon, on the earth, on Jupiter, on Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, or any planet or any place in the universe. All matters have mass because mass doesn't change by changing the place of matter. Another question. This is complete question. The measurement unit of mass is what or what, where the measurement unit of weight is what. Here again, the measurement unit of mass, surely I can hear you, you can answer, gram or kilogram. The measurement unit of mass is gram or kilogram. And the measurement unit of weight is, surely it will be Newton. We have only one unit for measuring weight. وحدة بس بقيس بيها الوزن أو الويت هي نيوتن. And we have 3 units for measuring mass, which is gram, kilogram, and ton. Mass is measured by, whereas weight is measured by. Take care, note this question has a trick. السؤال ده فيه trick، فيه خدعة. ممكن حد يقول لي mass is measured by gram or kilogram. No, measured by أنا بحتاج بعدها الجهاز، الديفايس مش اليونت. Again, measured by I need the device not the unit. يبقى ما ينفعش أقول له جرام أو كيلوجرام، لكن أقول له البالانس أو سكيل، الميزان أو أي نوع من بالانس درسناه. So again here, mass is measured by balances or balance scale or 2-arm scale, any scale you have studied. Whereas weight is measured by, someone can answer Newton. No, Newton is a unit. أنا مش عايز unit هنا، أنا بقول measured by بحتاج بعدها الديفايس أو الجهاز. Measured by spring scale. We have only one scale that is used to measure weight، هو spring scale أو ميزان الزومبوركي. Spring scale is the only measurement device for the weight. يبقى ناخد بالنا كويس تاني. measure in و measure by. Again هكتبهم مرة تانية عشان ما ننساهمش خالص. What's the difference between measured in and measured by? Look here, measure in or measured by. Measured in, I need what? I need the unit, such as gram, kilogram, ton for mass, and such as Newton for the weight. So what about the measured by? Measured by, I need what? I need the device, الجهاز. Device or the scale. Whatever بقى balance scale للويت أو balance scale sorry للماس and spring scale for weight. So again, measured in بحتاج بعدها unit، يعني بحتاج بعدها وحدات. measured by بحتاج بعدها الديفايس أو الجهاز أو السكيل أو التول اللي بستخدمها عشان أحدد الماس أو الويت. So another question. Mass is a constant value and it doesn't affect by what and what. Surely here I want the factors. هنا عايز الفاكتور اللي بيأثر على الويت. So mass is a constant and is not affected by, for example, place, for example, distance from the center of the planet and so on. So mass is constant and is not affected by place. الماس قيمة ثابتة ما بتتأثرش أبدا بتغيير المكان، أو ممكن أقول له mass is constant and is affected by changing the state of matter, by changing the state or by state of matter. Another question. An object weight depends on يعني يعتمد على. So an object weight depend on بيعتمد على ايه؟ يعني عايز الفاكتورز اللي بيأثر على الويت. We have 3 factors that are mass and place. So an object weight depends on its mass and the place. An object weight depends on its mass and the place. So another question which is the write the scientific term. السؤال ده مهم جدا ويمكن درسناه أول مرة في primary 4 رابعة ابتدائي. So I will give you a very important advice. نصيحة مهمة جدا في السؤال ده. Please in this question read the question carefully, especially the first word or the first 2 words. اقرا السؤال كويس قوي لكن ركز قوي على أول كلمة أو أول كلمتين. Why? Because they may be the secret answer، ممكن يكون هو مفتاح الحل or the answer key. يعني for example لما أقول system that is used for blah 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 هنا عايز جهاز. لما أقول unit for measuring mass أنا هنا عايز unit. لما أقول for example the device which is used for measuring the mass of the body أنا هنا عايز device. فبليز ركز قوي في scientific term على أول كلمة أو أول كلمتين because they are or they will be the key answer، هم مفتاح الحل. So let's start or let's practice نتدرب مع بعض على scientific term. Number one, the amount of matter. The amount of matter in an object. Number one, the amount of matter in an object is the first definition which we have studied today. So it will be the mass. The amount of matter in an object, it will be the mass. كمية المادة الموجودة في الشيء هي الماس. Another question. The force with which the body is attracted towards the earth. The force with which the body is attracted towards the earth. Surely it will be what? It will be the weight. It will be the weight. Again, the force with which a body is attracted towards the earth. It will be the weight. الوزن هو قوة الجذب. ممكن أقول the force أو attraction force أو gravitational force. They have the same meaning. All of them have the same meaning. The force with which a body is attracted towards the earth. The measurement unit of mass, which is almost equal to a mass liter of water. The measurement unit of mass, which is almost equal to a mass liter of water. وحدة قياس من الكتلة، لكن بتساوي كتلة لتر مية. هنا ما اقدرش اقول اي وحدة، ما اقدرش اقول له اي unit. I have three units which are gram, kilogram and ton. But here this question is specified. سؤال محدد بيقول لي unit لكن بتساوي mass of 1 liter of water. Surely it will be 1 kilogram, not gram and not ton. Again يبقى please read the question carefully till the end word. اقرا السؤال كويس قوي لاخر كلمة في السؤال. Why? Because maybe the question is specified. ربما يكون السؤال محدد او مطلوب مني يونت محدده، هو مش اي يونت. هنا بيقول يونت اوف ميجرمنت ماس، فهنستدعي ونقول له no. Here I need the kilogram, not the gram and not the ton. So by this question I'm afraid we have reached the end of this episode, and as I promised you again and again we will have another episodes next week inshallah. We will have a very special episode for problem or for solving the problems of mass and weight, and also we will have a revision of mass and weight, and after that we will start unit 2 which deal with measuring and heat conduction. And now I can say to you goodbye, see you soon.